Now on WDRB News.
We're back on the ground in Mayfield 2 months after a twister changed life here forever.
My husband and me started the church, and now it's all gone.
The story's just as heartbreaking, the destruction still just as stunning.
They're trying to salvage anything that we can.
Baghdad, and places in Baghdad that I wasn't as bad as what Mayfield looked like.
The hometown heroes offering a helping hand and the undeniable Kentucky spirit to move forward. Now on WDRB News at noon.
It was like it was sucking everything up, and
I know it's all going to take more time. But I think if I can stay in that Bible, I'll be okay.
Places in Baghdad that I wasn't as bad as what Mayfield looked like.
We will bounce back.
2 months after tornadoes tore through Kentucky, killing 77 people, this is what Mayfield looks like now.
Debris still everywhere as people continue to clean up their homes and businesses. This week on WDRB, we take you back to Mayfield to tell you stories of survival, strength, hope, and recovery. Rock Baptist Church in Mayfield went from this
We lost it all. It's sad.
to rubble in an instant.
My husband and me started the church, and now it's all gone.
When the December 10th tornado changed everything. So much heartbreak as Sheila Black says she's now dealing with this alone. After starting the church a couple years ago.
But at least I can remember us being here together. It's just really bad to lose it all. And I know it was just a building, but it was an important building because it was his. It wasn't ours. It was just that we come to worship here.
This is when we were a lot younger.
At her home nearby, which wasn't damaged in the tornado, Black looks through pictures.
This is his mom.
Remembering her husband, who was the pastor.
Your husband died of COVID, then the tornado happened. What keeps you going? What keeps you strong?
I think reading that Bible, talking to the Lord. He didn't tell me to shut the door, so I didn't. And now I just keep thinking about it and reading and trying to find the answers that I need so I know what to do going forward.
Even after her husband died, the door stayed open in their small church.
We didn't have very many. We had only about 8 or 10 maybe, and that was it. I waited for the Lord to send the ones he wanted to be here.
She says while the doors are closed now, she's hoping they won't be for long.
The main church was over there on the where the concrete pad is. This was like the student activity center, and so it was a pretty big building, and now it's just on the ground.
On this day, the Veterans Club out of Louisville is back.
And they're trying to salvage anything that we can.
Jeremy Harrell leading the group, seeing a difference in Mayfield 2 months later.
There's a lot more piles of rubble. It looks a little more organized, but still very, very destructive, and it's really tough to look at.
The veterans are clearing all of the debris, cinder blocks, and wood.
Baghdad, and places in Baghdad that I wasn't as bad as what Mayfield looked like. We knew that we needed to come back and do more.
About 20 vets volunteering to help.
It was a small church, probably a small budget, and that's why we wanted to focus on this today.
Every brick and block lifted.
Little knickknacks.
Sometimes uncovering treasures.
What are some of the things that you have found so far that the church can keep?
Yeah, so we found some furniture, small furnishings, some chairs, a vacuum cleaner somehow made it, and everything else didn't.
This church is one of many in the area turned to rubble. This is downtown Mayfield. You can see the courthouse over there, some downtown buildings, and this used to be a bank. Crews are demolishing it right now as this community continues to rebuild. And there is still so much work to be done here. This was also a church. Crews tell us they're sifting through the debris to find the copper from church roofs to be scrapped, saying 5 churches in the area had these roofs now crumpled and in piles.
We just wanted to do what we can to bring some respite relief to these people. They're so overwhelmed. The pastor that we met today, that we got the work orders, you could just tell that he's so overwhelmed, and we wanted to take the load off and really give him a day where he can focus on his flock.
And for volunteers to focus on churches that used to be standing. Harrell reminding us they're still our Kentucky neighbors.
Hey, we're here. We're only 3.5 hours away.
And while many volunteer groups have come and gone, these Louisville vets promise to come back to not only help churches like this, but other veterans who lost everything.
There's 1,858 veterans in this county, and I don't want them to think that because we're based in Louisville that they don't have access to us and that we're not here to serve them, because we are. So we've connected with some veterans.
Like others, Black is now waiting on insurance.
Even after this is settled, it's going to be a long road. Because if we had to rebuild and Don was here, he could have took care of all that. And I'm lost. Because I don't know nothing about building.
Taking it day by day.
Psalms 127.
But finding strength in the Word.
Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it.
And through the strength of volunteers who will do anything to make sure this church will rise again.
The church was just a building. Nobody got hurt. But I miss that church.
Tomorrow only on WDRB, an exclusive look inside the candle factory that is continuing operations in a nearby Mayfield community after the tornado. What the company says about that night and how it's rebuilding.